factor which stands the barrier to effective communication. If you don't pay attention, what is going to happen? The communication will fail. Then time pressures. Sometimes you have to meet lots of deadlines. There will be lots of deadlines coming up to you. You have to complete this work today, that work tomorrow. So due to those pressures and deadlines, sometimes what happens? It happen barrier in communication happens for that. Then next we have is my screen not visible now?
No, ma'am, your screen is not
Just a
visible.
second. There is a little bit of technical issues.
Okay.
Is
Yes.
it fine now?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. After that, we have the distractions or the noise, which can stand as a barrier to effective communication. So any kind of noise, that will be as a, suppose in a class a teacher is teaching. Take the example of a class, a teacher is teaching. Suddenly, somebody enters the class or creates some kind of noise, then what is going to happen? Obviously, distraction is going to happen, and that entire that flow will get affected. Complexity in the organizational structure. So sometimes what happens, in an organization where you go, there are lots of complexities there. There are lots of structures over there. Those structures can create a kind of barrier in the way to effective communication. Then poor retention. If the receivers are unable to retain the things properly, then also barrier happens. Inaccurate interpretation. Suppose if the sender is explaining something and the receiver is not appropriately interpreting that message, then also barriers may happen. Then perceptual differences are there. Sometimes what happens, we perceive something. We have lots of preconceived notions in our mind. We think that this can be in this way. So due to all those perceptual differences, barriers to communication happen. Linguistic impact on language. Sometimes what happens, the linguistic impacts on language shows. There will be variety in the word pronounced. So other factors will be there, which are linguistic features. So those things will also impact the effective communication. Semantics, the meanings. Further also, suppose say I want to say something. The receivers, they understand it, that particular word in some other way. That time also effect barriers happen. Next is the physical barriers. We have like noise or space and all these things, emotional and psychological barriers. So out of all these barriers, I feel that this is one of the most important barrier, which is emotional and psychological barriers. Okay, so psychological barriers. What happens if you're having psychological barriers? Psychological barriers are like anxiety. If you're having fear, anxiety, or inferiority complex, or sometimes even superiority complex, or sometimes you become over emotional. Sometimes you have all the
मैम
over excitement.
ओवरथिंकिंग की भी हो सकता है.
Yes, overthinking. Yes, very good. So these are the kinds of emotional and psychological barriers which can really hamper effective communication. Okay. So out of all these things, language differences, inattention, time pressure, whatever is there. But I believe, for me, according to me, I believe that emotional and psychological barriers, emotional and psychological blocks are the most important. So you have to try to overcome these emotional and psychological blocks. Okay. Sometimes what happens, we see the speaker and we take the speaker to be like we'll not listen to that speaker only. So it so happens sometimes. So these all falls under the psychological category. Okay. That gender differences can be there, cultural differences can be there, but whatever I have said, out of all those barriers, for me, emotional and psychological barriers are the most important. So you have to focus on these. You have to see, as a student, your work is your work is that you should not fall under this trap, this emotional and psychological barrier. You have to overcome this emotional and psychological barrier. You should know how to manage your emotions. You should know how to maintain positivity. Okay. So any kind of complaints is very harmful for you. So now here we'll see the seven C's of effective communication. So these are the 7 C's of effective communication. So you have to follow these guidelines in order to become an effective communicator. The first C is completeness. Okay. So what is the meaning of completeness? That means whatever information as a sender, whatever information you give to the receiver, that has to be complete information. Don't be halfway. Don't give half information. It should make a sense. Whatever information, whatever ideas you are giving to the receiver, that has to make a sense. That has to have a sense, and that should have completeness. Okay, there should not be some kind of incomplete information. Next, you have is conciseness. What is the meaning of conciseness? Conciseness means that your information should be crisp and short. Just be to the point. You don't have to talk many things. You don't have to use many words. Just use those words wherein the receiver will, find it easy to understand, to connect. Conciseness. Use short words. Use brief words and be to the point. That is very important. Whatever you want to say, be very precise and very concise. Don't use very long words to explain yourself. Next is consideration. Consideration is another C of effective communication. So, what is this consideration? That means as a speaker or as a sender or as a leader. When you are going for a job, if you're a leader, you have to consider the background, the level of your audience, okay, or of your teammates, or as a teacher, your students. Their level, their background should be considered. Okay, only then you can become an effective communicator. The level of the background of your listeners, only then you can proceed in that way. Okay, so this consideration is also very important. C of effective communication. The next comes clarity. Clarity is that whatever you speak, that has to be clear. There should not be any kind of ambiguity. There should not be any kind of dual meanings. Whatever you want to say, that has to be clear, totally clear, so that your audiences can understand, so that the receiver, whoever the receiver is, the student or whoever the receiver is, they can understand it properly. So your communication should be clear. For that, you can use very simple language. Okay. Next is concreteness. So what is the meaning of concreteness? You have to be very particular, very specific. When whatever message you are giving, you have to be very specific. Like for example, you can give data, you can show graphs to understand, to make yourself understand better. That can be done. So don't be general, don't be vague. You have to be concrete and to the point. Okay. Next is courtesy.
Ma'am, please repeat this point again.
Concreteness, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Concreteness means it is opposed to abstractness. Abstract. Abstract is something, for example, if I say something in general, right? That is called abstract. For example, if I say the rose is a flower, for example, the rose is a flower. So that is a general kind of a statement which I'm making as a sender. If I want to be more specific, I have to say the rose is a red. The rose is a flower. It symbolizes love. It symbolizes harmony or whatever things in that way. The rose is a flower. There is nothing wrong with that, but that is a very abstract kind of remark. So if you want to be specific, add detail to that, right? The red rose or something like that. Add specific details. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Next is courtesy. Courtesy means politeness. Okay. So whenever you are speaking, anywhere at any level, suppose you are a public speaker, you have to maintain this courtesy. You cannot be very dominating. It is not law. It is a total no to be dominating. And again, you cannot be very submissive. So you have to maintain in between. You have to be courteous in your conduct. You have to show politeness. And how will you show all these things? I will come later through body language. Body language is also one aspect. Your tone, your voice, all these are some aspects through which you can maintain this. The next is correctness. So whenever you are passing any information to your receiver, you have to see that that message, that information is correct. So verify those information properly before presenting. So these are the 7 C's of effective communication which you have to follow. I hope it's clear. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So can we move on to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now here you can see that these are some of the tricks in which you can become an effective communicator. In order to become an effective communicator, the very first thing which I believe is listening, which we generally tend to ignore. It is very difficult to be a good listener. So the very first point is that be an active listener. So there are certain techniques to be an active listener. So for that, what you have to do, you have to pay proper attention. Pay proper attention to the speaker. Try to understand before judging. Okay. Try to understand before passing any kind of judgment to the speaker. Pay proper attention to the speaker. Next is show that you are listening. You have to show, and that how can you do? Yes, any idea? How can you show that you are listening? In online medium, it's little difficult, but how can you show that you are actually listening?
Standing properly, listening properly.
Yes, yes. For example, you are sitting also. It's not about standing always. For example, even if you are sitting, you have to maintain your correct posture. Sit straight. Try to understand. Try to show that you are listening, so that the other person understands that yes, you are actually listening. Okay. Next is provide positive reinforcement. So sometimes you can provide positive reinforcement. Reinforcement matlab you can nod your head. Yes, no, you can do all this with the help of nodding your head. So there are a lot of things which can happen through body language, isn't it? Without speaking also you can do a lot. So those things here you have to follow. Next is provide effective feedback. So providing effective feedback is also very important in order to be an active listener. Suppose you are not understanding anything, you can ask. Okay, you can ask questions, or even if you are understanding, you can provide that feedback. Ki, yes, you are understanding. So this is one way, one technique to become an effective communicator. You have to be an active listener. The next is work on your non-verbal communication. This is very very important. You have to understand these things very 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 nicely, that and you have to always see this thing that your non-verbal communication is very important. It is not always about the words that you use, but it is more about the non-verbal expressions. So just look at this. Your verbal communication is only about 35%. 65% of communication happens non-verbally. So this is something which you have to understand and which you have to take into account. Your facial expressions. How should be your facial expressions? There has to be a smile. You don't have to grin. You don't have to laugh like that. But then you can give a brief smile through which you can you can show the positivity. The tone of your voice is very very important in creating interest. Your tone should not be flat, just going on like that. Then it becomes very boring. You have to vary your tone, the intonation. Sometimes you have to maintain high pitch, sometimes low, sometimes medium, in this way depending on the context. So the tone of your voice is very important. The pitch, the movement, how you move, your appearance, your dress, how you look like. Your dress also is very important in making a very first impression. The eye contact, you have to maintain proper eye contact in order to be effective non-verbally. Your posture, if you're standing, you have to stand erect. If you're sitting, you have to sit straight. So your postures also has to be proper. So here you see, these are some of the things which are very important. Your content, whatever content you're giving, that has to be meaningful and interesting. Your voice, most important, the tone, how you throw, the pitch, your facial expressions. Okay, eye contact. Suppose you are speaking in front of 50 people, 50 audiences, you have to cover everyone. Not that you are just looking at one person or two persons. You have to cover everyone. You have to maintain your eye contact to everyone. Only then you can build, rapport with your audience. Posture, it has to look confident. You have to stand upright. Okay. Gestures, acceptable. Okay, never obscene. So don't use. You have to use your hands, but then not some acceptable kind of gestures. The movement should be minimum. Don't move too much. Suppose you are standing on the stage, don't move too much. then the attention of the audience, it gets distracted. So movement should be a little bit minimum. Appearance, your dress speaks, never gaudy. Don't be very loud on your dress. Just be properly dressed, be decent. So these are the things which you have to take care, when you want to become an effective communicator. The next slide is this. It's visible, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fine. So, how can you improve your non-verbal communication skills? The first is to maintain eye contact, nod your head to convey that you agree. Okay, smile and show interest. Lean forward to show the speaker that you're interested. Never slouch backwards. You have to lean little bit forward, not too much forward, but then little bit forward that yes, you are showing interest. Okay, use tone of voice that matches your message. The tone of your voice should match your message. For example, you want to convey something very happy, right? Your tone should express that. For example, if I say I have a very happy news to share with you. Now, if I speak in this way, I have a happy news to share with you. So, is that fine? Just try to understand the difference. If I say I have very happy news, I have an exciting news to share with you all. How does it sound? Yes. If I say that how I have an exciting news to share with you all, how does it sound? Fine? All fine with my tone? I have an exciting news to share with you all. And if I say I have an exciting news to share with you all,
It
which
is a
one?
low voice.
Yeah. No, it is not about low voice. It is about the variance in the tone. You have to try to use different kinds of things in your tone. So that is what. Okay. So you have to use the tone of your voice that matches your message. If you want to say something sad, then in that way, I have a sad news to share with you. Then that is okay. It is matching my message, right? So this voice tone also matters a lot. Now here to see another one is all of you are you know this that you have to work on your speaking skill. Speaking skill is one of the very important ways in which you can become an effective communicator. It is a very important space where you can improve. You have to work on your speaking skills. So how to speak? You have to speak confidently and fluently. And how does this happen? It is very easy to say that speak confidently and fluently. But then how does this task actually happen? Any idea?
So, ma'am,
Hello?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So work on your speaking skills. The very first point is speak confidently and fluently. So what does this mean? How can you speak confidently and fluently?
the proper words.
Yes, you have to use proper words. For example, say you don't know how to use the proper words. For that, what you have to do, you have to keep speaking, right? You have to build an environment. For example, the classroom. You build a, that speaking class, right? That in this period of 1 hour, I'll be practicing speaking. We all will be practicing speaking. And the very first thing for this is that you can make mistakes. There is no problem in making mistakes. And in fact, you have to make mistakes in order to be correct one day, right? So speak confidently and fluently. You can devote yourself to the speaking class, and wherein you can speak confidently and fluently. Whatever comes, speak loud, right? So you can practice this. So the speaking confidently and fluently will come only with practice, only with rehearsals. You also can record your voice. So these are some other techniques. You can speak in front of the mirror. So in this way, you can improve your speaking skills. Now, whenever you're speaking with the public, you have to speak at a moderate speed. Don't be very fast. Do not rush through. Don't be very fast and don't be very slow. Try to be moderate. Okay. Speak with clarity and conciseness. So you have to speak with clarity, clear, clearly, and as well as concisely. That I have already told you in the seven C's of effective communication. Be clear with your message. Don't be ambiguous, and be use short words. Try to use short words for your message to be clear. Use simple and suitable words while speaking. Use very simple and suitable words while speaking. Practice and but do not memorize. So always remember one very important way to become an effective speaker is never memorize your script. Suppose you're going for public speaking, never memorize. Practice 100 times, but then don't memorize. So what you can do is that you can take a handout, a small handout wherein you can write the key points over there. But you should know what to speak there. But don't memorize your script. If you are memorizing your script, you can never be successful. And the receiver will immediately get that idea that yes, you have memorized your script. Okay. So practice 100 times, but don't memorize. Don't try to memorize. Next is connect with your audience and build rapport. So it is very important. Rapport building and connecting with your audience at whatever level you go, it is very important to connect with your audience and build rapport. So how can you do that? You can share stories. You can share your personal experiences, personal stories, right? And then you can slowly try to build the rapport with the audience, and then you can start. So this is also one very important technique to become an effective speaker. After that, we have okay. So here, I want you all to speak up here. Enough of my speaking now. So this is a tongue twister. It is very important, interesting activity to improve your pronunciation. Tongue twisters they come with a purpose. Remember, okay? They come with a purpose. Their purpose is to improve your pronunciation, right? So here I will want you one by one. You can unmute yourself, and then I will take the names, and then you have to come up. You can pick up any tongue twister out of this, and you can just repeat it for 3 times fast. Okay, 3 or 4 times. That is up to you. And I will call your names. So you can pick up any tongue twister from here. For example, let me give you the example here.
Tanima, ma'am, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Can you off your second device? There is a echo sound continuously.
Yes, sir. It's already turned off now.
Okay, okay, fine, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah, it's already turned off. I have turned off my devices.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
But then yes, I also can feel that echo.
Yeah, there is echo sound continuously coming
Yeah,
out.
but then
That's why.
it's not from my side.
Fine, ma'am. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to do in this way. For example, just take up this, the last tongue twister. Four fine, four fine fresh fish for you. 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 So in this way, you have to repeat it 4 times. Can you do this? Yes. Yes, Aksha. Aksha, Divya, Rahul, Pooja. Yes. So just pick up one tongue twister from here. Please unmute yourself one by one. Okay, not all of you. Just unmute yourself, and then we'll
What is
start
the
with it.
question, ma'am?
You have to pick up one any tongue twister from here out of all these tongue twisters, and you have to repeat it 4 times. Just like that I have told you in this way. For example, take up the last one. For example, four fine fresh fish for you. 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 You have to move. You have to go fast and repeat 4 times out of all this. Is that clear now? Is the instruction clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So let us start with this. You can take up anyone, okay? Anyone, and then 4 times you have to repeat it fast. It's okay even if you make mistakes, no problem. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Yeah. So can we start with Aksha? Please unmute yourself, Aksha.
Is there? Aksha, ma'am?
Aksha is there.
Please on your mic.
Yeah,
Okay. It is tongue twister, ma'am. We
yeah,
should read the sentence.
yeah. Anyone you can pick up and then you can start.
Yes, ma'am, can I?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Four fine fresh fish for you. Four fine fresh fish for you. Four fine,
Go
four
on.
fine,
Yeah,
four fine fresh. Sorry, ma'am.
it's okay, no problem. There is nothing to be sorry. Yeah. Next one. Divya Batra is there. Yes. I can see lots of participants over here. Gulshan, Gaurav, anyone up here? Okay, okay, Afsha, no problem. Jyotsna?
Ma'am, too
Yeah,
much
yeah.
echo sound is there, so it is disturbing very much.
There is echo sound now also.
Yes, means not able to hear clearly.
Okay, but what I have told, have you understood this tongue twister?
Yes,
Yeah. So please try it out, Akshay. Akshay.
Ashay, yes.
Yeah.
I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
Okay, very good. This echo sound is not from my side. I have checked it properly. It is not from my side. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The next one.
Who is next?
Yes, Roshni ma'am. You also can try.
She sails,
Yeah.
she sails by the seashore. She sails by the seashore. She sails, she sail by the seashore. Okay, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah. Very good, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else who wants to try?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Please.
Four fine fresh fish for you. Four fine fresh fish for you. Four fine fresh fish for you. Four fine fresh fish for you.
Okay. Next. Others. Divya Batra, Rahul Srivastav, Rahul Srivash. Sorry. Anybody else would like to give a try to this tongue twisters? It's a very important, very fun activity, to improve your pronunciation. Is my voice clear now?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. You are
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
if
Anybody
anyone
else?
please, this is the
Ankita
game
is
where tongue
raising. Yeah.
twister.
Ankita is raising her hand, but then I think she has. Ankita, would you like to try another one? You can try. You all are raising your hands. Yes, Ankita.
बट मैम अटक जाती हूँ मैं थोड़ा बोलती हूँ लेकिन अटकता है वो
कोई
आई
बात
डोंट नो
नहीं, कोई
व्हाई
बात नहीं, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, अटकना ही चाहिए. That is why this activity is given to you. अटकना ही चाहिए तो उससे ही improve होगा, isn't it, Ankita? Yeah,
यस मैम आई
yeah.
he three he threw three free throws. He threw three free throws. He threw three throws. He threw three free throws.
Okay, good, Ankita. Next, anybody else? Okay, nobody else wants to try. So I'll be proceeding to the next slides then. Anybody
Sure,
else
ma'am,
wants to
sure.
try? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So another important skill which you have to have is that presentation skills. If you want to become an effective communicator, you have to work on your presentation skills. Without being a very good presentation presenter, you cannot become an effective communicator. So this effective communication and presentation skills, it goes hand in hand. Okay, so with this, I will like to delve deeper into the presentation skills. So now let us understand what is presentation. What do you understand by presentation? See, a presentation is a kind of communication between the speaker and the audience. So, presentation is nothing but a kind of communication, isn't it, between the speaker and the audience? It is a kind of communication between the speaker and the audience. So, this communication is actually enhanced by some kind of visual aids. So, look at this now. A presentation can be adapted to various speaking situations, such as talking to a group, addressing a meeting, or briefing a team. So, in many ways, you can adapt, you can use this presentation in various speaking situations, such as talking to a group. You are talking to a group, or maybe you are addressing a meeting, you're briefing a team. So, if you come with the presentation, if you're coming, you are speaking something, but then again you are coming with a presentation. So, obviously, the impact will be more, right? So, this is all about what is presentation. Now, here you see this thing is very common, isn't it? Fear of speaking is feared more than death. Do you agree with this? Yes.
Yes.
Fear of speaking is feared more than death. Now, if I ask you that speak something, for example, if I say Ashay, speak something, or whoever, Ashay will be speaking. I know that, but then many other Ashays will be there who would not want to speak, isn't it? Because they feared it so much. They feared it so much that they prefer dying over speaking. Is it true? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a
Yes.
very very thing where you are actually lack. The first thing is that you have to remove this fear. The fear of speaking is feared more than that, and it is very true. Here it might be a little bit kind of an exaggeration, but then again it is very true. It is not false. Next, here we will see what are presentation skills. Presentation skills are the abilities one needs in order to deliver engaging, informative, transformative, and instructive presentations. So this is an art. Presentation skill is an art. Okay. The chief purpose of presentation is to give information, persuade the audience to act, and to create goodwill. So why do you have to give presentation? What is the chief purpose? What is the main purpose? To give information. Information is fine. You can also speak and give information, but then to persuade the audience, to motivate, to move the audience to act. Okay, and to create goodwill. If you are going for your professional career, you can create goodwill with the help of presentation skills. If you are very good and if your presentation is very good, it will be very easy to create goodwill and trust amongst your team. Next, we'll quickly look into this the characteristics of a good presentation. The presentation ideas should be well adapted to your audience. So whatever ideas of presentation you are going to make, it has to be well, adjusted with the audience. You cannot just say whatever you know, but not the audience. So the audience also have to connect with your presentation ideas. A good presentation should have the potential to convey the required information. So a good potential is that where it has the potential, where it has a power, it has the power to convey the required information. The required information has to be conveyed very effectively. The fear should be transformed into positive energy during the presentation. So it is very obvious that whenever you are going to give a presentation, you will feel scared, that you will feel very nervous. But then you can use this nervousness and create it into a positive energy. Is it possible? Nervousness can be transformed into positive energy. Okay? See,
Ma'am,
yes.
ma'am, um, means while you are means communicating with people, you are having a lot of nervousness and anxiety.
Huh.
So that leads to means kind of shivering things.
Yes.
So is it a very normal or abnormal thing?
Asha, it is something very normal. All of us, even the best public speakers, they also feel scared. But you will not understand by looking at them. How do they do it? They try to, whatever nervousness is there, whatever things are there, they try to change it into positive energy. What happens to your body when you speak? You feel that shivery kind of thing, right? But then you can
Yes.
use this energy. You take it something positively. Okay, say you don't feel anything, so what is going to happen? You will be very like, you will not have any kind of energy. But nervousness will give you a certain kind of energy and enthusiasm, anxiety, that feeling, that excitement. So try to change into a positive energy by trying to tell a story, by trying to move more, by trying to use your hands. So in that way you can change. Clear, Ashay? So that is one thing.
Yes.
That is one thing. So take this nervousness in a very positive way. Nervousness is something which is very common. There is nothing wrong with being nervous. Even the best public speakers, they feel nervous to speak. But have you seen the TEDx speakers? How do they speak? They also feel nervous. But then what they do? They practice a lot. You have to practice a lot. You have to speak in front of a mirror, or maybe you can speak in front of five friends who will be giving you constructive criticism. In that way, you can improve, and you will see that you are shivering, right? You are having
Yes.
butterflies in your stomach, so you can move at that time. At that very time, you can move something. You can dance more. In that way, you can try to do it. Okay, it happens with practice. It happens. Fine. That is why what I mentioned in the third point, that the fear should be transformed into positive energy during the presentation. A good presentation must be planned. There has to be a certain kind of planning. Without planning, you cannot just go like that. Even the best speakers have to plan and go what they're going to speak. Okay? Next is summarize the presentation at the end. Give final comments. Leave a positive impact upon the audience. So whenever your presentation is done, try to summarize the key points. That is a very important, very good way of creating a positive impact on your audience, and the audience will also be able to connect with whatever points you have told so far, isn't it? So summarize. Try to summarize and end very positively. That is another way. After that, you have this. See, why do presentations fail in making an impact? What do you think that presentations sometimes fail in making an impact? They just go like that. The first is failure to motivate the audience. This motivation, this term is very important. You have to motivate the audience. How can you motivate the audience? By telling your personal stories, or by trying to give a kind of ice breaking activity. So all these things are very uh, all these things work to motivate the audience by asking questions. Okay, but whenever you are giving some kind of presentations, so initially start with a very strong intro. Start very well means you have to try to motivate the audience in the first very in the first 2 to 3 minutes. That is very important. You can start by telling a story, by narrating a personal experiences also. That is also all right. Okay. Then sometimes presentations fail because of a confusing structure. If the structure is not proper, if it is not planned properly, then also presentations may fail. Sometimes excessive details. Whenever you are trying to give presentations, PowerPoint presentations, if you write there everything, then what is the point of what is the point of speaking there? You can email the presentations there, right? So never write too much on the presentations. Never write too much on the slides. Just write the key points. Then sometimes poorly designed slides. Sometimes the slides will be so poorly designed that they will not be able to, that will not be of any interest to you. Okay, so these are the things why presentations fail. So you have to overcome these things. After that, we have that what are the steps. So here we'll see the steps to make an effective presentation. The very first step is planning. Next we have is preparation. After that we have is practice and the delivery. Okay. So the very first step is planning. How will you plan your presentation? Is it visible? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
ma'am. It is
visible. No?
visible.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay. So this is the planning stage, which is very important. So while planning your presentation, you have to know who is your audience, who your audiences are, because you have to adapt to their needs. Who are they? Why are they there? So why are they sitting there, or why are they standing there to listen to you? What is the purpose? What is your goal? What do you expect to accomplish? How long will it be? Where will it take place? So these are all the parts of planning phase. Okay. So these things, these questions you have to keep in mind, and accordingly you have to make your presentations in that way. Okay. So these are the very important steps. Planning. Without planning, anything will fail. So in the planning stage, you have to consider these important things. After planning, you have the preparation stage. In the preparation stage, wherever your preparation stage means you are preparing, right? Planning ho gaya hai, planning is done. Now I have to prepare. So whenever you are preparing, you have to prepare the structure. That how will the structure of my slides be? What will be the visual aids? Will it be there or not? Then appearance of the speaker as well as the slides also, you can say the voice and the tone. How will my voice and tone be? How will my body language be? So these are the things which are very important, especially when you are giving an offline presentation. In online, there is going to be, there will be some of the other problems, as we also have seen. There were some technical glitches. It is going to be there. But I'm talking. My main purpose is to show you how to give offline presentations. Okay, so this is the preparation stage. Structure. So you have to take care of the structure of the slides. How long will they be? You have to be well organized. जैसे first the introduction जो है, introduction should come in the front only. It should not come in below. So all these are the structure. It has to be well organized. Visual aids, you can take help of the visual aids, but then not too much visual aids. Okay. And appearance, your dress, how you look like, voice and tone. You have to take care of your voice and tone. It's very important. And your body language. After that, here you have the practice stage. So what happens in the practice stage? See, practice makes a man perfect. Remember, without practice, even if you're a very good speaker, without practice, you can't be successful. Your presentations cannot go successful. So practice repeatedly to manage time. Time management is also very important. So you have to practice repeatedly. Okay. Rehearse properly. You can rehearse in front of a mirror or a friend. That is also very important. That is also a very useful way to improve yourself. Conquer nervousness. How can you conquer nervousness? Nothing. You should not do anything. For example, I'm feeling very nervous right now, but that is all right. There is no problem with that. First, you have to recognize that yes, you are nervous. Accept that. Yes, I'm nervous. But I will use my nervousness and create a positive energy out of that nervousness. That should be the attitude. So this all comes in the practice stage. The more you practice, the better you get, because practice makes a man perfect. Next is the delivery stage. So make a strong start. Whenever you are starting something, make a strong start. You can start with the help of a story. Okay, you can start with the help of a story that can be very, that can, you can connect with your audience very easily if you are sharing your own personal experiences, whatever topic it is. Engage the audience in the first 2-3 minutes. This is very important. You have to engage the audience in the first 2 to 3 minutes. Take care of your non-verbal communication. Already I have told about the non-verbal communication. You have to take special care of this non-verbal communication. Your body language, your voice and tone, your pitch, your dress, your appearance, all these things. After that, you have here the 4 hacks to make a great presentation. So these are some of the 4 hacks to make a great presentation. If you want to excel professionally, take care of the fonts and use powerful graphics. So take care of the fonts. You all know fonts. You all make PowerPoint presentations, right? So when it comes to fonts, these are some of the recommended fonts which you can use. Calibri is there, Arial is there, Verdana is there, Tahoma. So each of the fonts are tried in their own style. So you can use these fonts, and you can use powerful graphics. Powerful graphics means some images you can use, but they're not in all the slides, only wherever it's required. So you have to take care of this. It is really going to help you. Okay. And one more important thing is that, which I want to say, that you have to keep the background light. Whenever you are going to make a PowerPoint presentation, keep your background light. Don't make it very dark. Light background with deep fonts, it will work. For example, here if I use this, say this Calibri, if I write in yellow, what is going to happen? Just see the difference. Is my slide visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what is going to happen here? Just look at this. Just now I have changed it. So can you read it? You can't read it properly, right? So this is the idea. The idea is that keep your background light, and this font colors should be dark. You can use blue also, deep dark blue, but never use yellow. in the light background. Okay, but preferably you can keep the black background light. Arial, Verdana, and Tama are some of the recommended fonts. So take care of these fonts and use powerful graphics. Next, which you have is that limit the amount of text. This is very important. In this text box, don't use too much of write-ups there. Okay, don't use too much of write-ups. You can use the 7 by 7 rule. So like 7 bulletin points you can give and just write the main points over here. So you have to follow this rule. After that, you have this, use your voice to carry the content to the audience. Whatever content, your content may be very good. Your content may be very good. But if you cannot take it, if you cannot carry the content to the audience, you cannot become a very good presenter. You cannot become an effective communicator. So your content, along with that content, what is going to carry? Your content, your voice. Use your voice. Try various tones, okay, to carry the content to the audience. Voice, what does this voice involve? Voice involves volume, tone, and pace. Your volume. You should not be very high pitched. Your tone, you should be moderate. Your tone should be proper. It should sound interesting. And the pace means the speed. You should not be very fast. You should not be very slow. Vary your tone. I have already told you can use high pitch whenever it's required, depending on the situation, depending on the context. Be passionate about your topic. Whenever you're speaking about any topic, be passionate. Show your enthusiasm. Try to give your 100%. Okay? Maintain eye contact, smile and use appropriate gestures. So your eye contact should be proper. Maintain eye contact. Never look above. Suppose, for example, you are feeling very nervous, but then don't look above, don't look below. Just look at the audience. Don't look at the wall. Just look at the audience. Cover and try to cover all the audiences with your eye contact. Smile. Maintain that smile and use appropriate gestures. Okay? So, and remember one more thing, hack, which I would like to share, that be yourself. Remember that your PowerPoint is just a supplement, right? But you have to be yourself. You have to bring out the presenter in you. You have to bring out the presenter in you. Whenever you're presenting something, bring out the presenter in you and be yourself. Don't try to copy anybody else. You don't have to. You're unique in your own way. So you are the best. Just try to think that and bring out the presenter in you. Remember that you are presenting. Your slide is just a supporting element, which is helping you in becoming an effective communicator. But then you are the presenter. So bring out that presenter in you. And how can you do that? With effective body language, use your voice properly. So all these other techniques in which you can do. Okay. So this was all about effective communication today, and that is what I had to tell to share with all of you regarding effective communication. I hope you must have at least understood something, the students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can ask me questions if you have any doubts regarding all this. Please, you can ask me any questions.
Ma'am, I am having question.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Somehow out of box, but related to communication only.
Yeah.
So can I speak?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Uh, Means it's my personal experience that whenever I'm talking on a controversial topic or any hot topic with any person, so while communicating my emotions dominate me very much. So at that time quarreling or kind of abusive language is used by me, and at that time I'm not means recognizing myself and just going with the flow. So how to control that emotions in you while communication?
Yeah, that is a very good question, Asha. So see, whenever you are in a public forum, whenever suppose you are in a college, so you have to first try to understand. See, very good that you can understand your emotions, right? That I become angry, I become dominating, I use abusive language. That means half the task is done, isn't it? Because at least you are accepting, at least you are self-aware. That means you know that all these things happen to you, isn't it? So now what will happen is that just try to think, try to imagine in this way that this is a public forum, this is not at home. So I have to somewhere I have to keep that line proper. So I should not speak in this way because that is going to harm my image, that is going to ruin my image. So once you can recognize your emotions, that I become very emotional. So try to control that. Try to manage your emotions. Try to be calm. Isn't it? Try to be calm. I'm not telling you don't
Yes.
quarrel. You have to be assertive, but don't become aggressive. There is a difference. There is a very thin line of difference between aggression and assertion. You have to be assertive. You have to keep your point. It's not that you will not keep your point and you will just be submissive. That is very wrong. But in a proper way, you have to maintain your conduct. In a very formal way, in a very proper way, you have to maintain your conduct, and you cannot at all be aggressive. You have to be assertive, but not aggressive. Okay, and it totally depends on you because you can understand your emotions better.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you
Yes.
stop your presentation and on your camera so that
Sure,
a
sure,
student
sure,
will
sure.
interact with you
Sure,
properly?
sure, sure. I'm
Yeah.
just stopping it. I'm just doing
Okay.
that. Am I
Yeah.
visible
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
now? Yeah.
Anyone having any question, please ask to ma'am. I think there will be no question from the student side, ma'am. So can we move ahead?
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, madam, for giving your valuable insight on significance of effective communication and presentation skills for professional excellence in the life of student. We think this was a fantastic lecture that not only encouraged the student to think outside the box but also assistant in learning. Madam dwelt upon the following points. Madam talk about meaning of communication and also to light on how effective communication should be required to become successful in life. She has also explained about the role of communication in our life, like communication is essential to the exchange of information, thought, and ideas. She also discussed the barriers to effective communication by citing various examples. Madam also differentiate wonderfully between verbal and non-verbal communication in a very lucid way. Thank you once again, madam, for such an unforgettable session. I'm sure the student might have enjoyed and found it to be the most wonderful and fruitful session. Thank you, ma'am, for sparing valuable time from your heavy schedule. Now, I hand over the session to Dr. Kalyani Kamre for propose a vote of thanks. Now, I, Roshni Mahajan, take your leave. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, all. I am Kalyani Kamle. Feel honored to express vote of thanks on this pleasant occasion on behalf of Dr. S.C. Gulhane, Prerna College of Commerce, Science and Arts. First of all, I express my sincere gratitude to our resource person, Dr. Tanima Shom ma'am, who have spared her precious time from a busy schedule to grace the occasion and enlighten all of us with her knowledge talk. I would extend my sincere thanks to Dr. S.C. Gulhane sir, Secretary Prerna Seva Mandal, for his constant support and motivation. I express my regards to Ms. Abhilasha Gurde, CEO Prerna Seva Mandal. I would further extend my hearty thanks to our inspiration, Dr. Praveen Joshi sir, Director of the college. I extend my sincere thanks to IQC coordinator Dr. Ravatkar sir. I must mention my deep sense of gratitude to our principal Dr. Durukar sir. I extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Prashant Selokar sir for making this program a successful one. I would also like to thank Ms. Neha Samundre, Academic and Cultural Activities Coordinator, for her tireless efforts. My deep sense of appreciation goes to all my dear colleagues and technical staff who help us to make this program a grand success. Now, With the permission of chair, I declare that the program is over. Thank you, one and all. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day, ma'am.
Everybody, please leave the meeting. The program is over now. Thank you so much. Thank you all.